Okay, so as you can see, I'm over at the computer, and I'm going to show you how to make the template for a shutter card. And this is it. So I've coloured the part so you can see. I've done 2 layers. We don't need a layer there. You can do, but you don't necessarily need it. So I'm just going to put that to the side. And obviously the first thing we need is a shape, and it's the rectangle. Now the main square of the rectangle, I've unticked maintain aspect ratio because the width we need at 11 exactly, and the height is 6 3/4 because I'm aiming at a 7 by 7. Now if you're doing it a different size, you just do the size you want. When you're doing the inside, you've just got to remember that there will be this inch going through the middle, so you've got to allow for that. So we're going to duplicate this, and the small square inside to make the aperture. What I decided to do was do 1.5 top and bottom, but 1 3/4 on the sides because it's a bit longer and it needs a bit more stability, I felt. So I've done that, taking 3 off, 1.5 each side, and that makes it 375. And this one, if you take 1 3/4 off each side, that makes 3.5, so that means that one's got to be 7.5. And this is what you get. And then you're going to grab both shapes and put it through the center on the align, through the center and through the middle, so that it's properly centered. And then on process overlap you can click subtract, and now we have a proper aperture where nothing's in the middle. See, if you click, there's nothing. If you click on the frame, it comes up. So the next thing we need is the small or thin long rectangle here. It doesn't matter actually which shape you choose. I've got the aspect ratio still off, and I want the height to be 1 inch, so I'm just going to press it 0.0, and then here I want it to be just over the 7.5. So if we make it 8, I think that will work. And then we need to make sure that it goes over both of these lines. And then we're going to grab it all. Again, we're going to align through the middle so that we know that it's centered there. And then we're going to come and weld. And that's the shape you're left with. So now we need to do the scores. Now I'll write them on the screen, but if we get the path tool, start at the top, I'm just going to draw a line from the bottom, from the top to the bottom, because it's straight then. Whenever I try and do it on a short bit, for some reason it goes wonky. I always choose the 3rd line down. It's a very small score cut, and they're very distant, so they tend not to break. It's because that's more like a perforation. If you use that, I think it kind of falls apart. So I tend to use this one. What I should have done first is tell you to get to your X and Y. You know, I like to be at my X and Y. So the X, I'm using the arrows on the keyboard to adjust it exactly. So now I'm on 0, 0. So I can move the score line if I can grab it, which I can't. If you have trouble grabbing the score line, then come into layers and click on it, and then you've grabbed it. So we're going to, before we carry on, I need it to go to 175, and it should land spot on them lines. There you go. So now what we're going to do is just put that up there. We're going to duplicate so that there's a matching one down here. Just make sure that's at 175 as well. So I'm looking at the X, and they're both at 175. So now I've got that, I'm going to try and grab that one again. There we go. And I'm going to duplicate. So that's at 175. Just want to make sure I'm getting this right. Okay, I should have written the where they are myself, but I didn't. So I'm just going to copy what I've already done so I know that I've got them in the right place. But I think I know that's 7.5 and 9.25. It's just that one. I always forget this one. So now I need them two again so that I can duplicate. It saves us doing 6 lines. So this one, I'm sure, is 7.5. See, I'm over one, so I'm going to go back like that. One more, layer duplicate, and this one is 9.25. I'm almost positive. Yes. Okay, so I can take this one away again. And that gives you the score lines for the card. Okay, so all we've got left to do now are the score lines along here. Now there's only 2 very small score lines. I am going to pick one of these just to duplicate. I'll take it up here because I know the first one is at 4. So that looks like 4. Oh, almost spot on. So then all I need to do is bring that up a little bit. Bring that down a tad, duplicate it, and the next one is at 7.5. Okay, so that is your whole main card. So now all we need to do is work out the layers. Now, because of the score lines, the only way you can do this is by fitting them on. So it doesn't matter what you start off using, because all we're going to do is shape it. I mean, you can change the size, so the width here would be 1.5, because we know to the score line is 1 3/4. So if you go down 1/4 inches, you'd then know that this is 6 3/4, so this needs to be 6.5, and that's your first mat. So now we know that's a square. I'll tell you what we'll do. If we just duplicate that, we also know that that is 1.5. So this one needs to be 1 1/4 height. There we go, and 1.5 wide. So it's not quite a square. And you're going to need 4 of them. And then this one, we'll duplicate that, and you're just taking it to there. I mean, you can basically see the width there says 371, so I know already that's 3 3/4. So we'll change it to a proper sizing, and you need 2 of them. But you need this doubled because this is only one side, and then you're doing the other side. So you need 2 of the cards, 2 of them, 8 squares, and 4 of these. That is what you need to do both sides. And then you're going to need a piece that joins them in the middle, and that's going to be dependent on what size you want to do. So when I get over to the craft table, I'll show you. On my practice one, I actually used a 7x7 card in the middle, but it does make it quite a bit longer, and I'll show you when we're over there. So it's probably better to do something more like 3 inches across. It doesn't sound a lot, but it gives you enough room to put something nice in the middle. So I'll show you when we're over there, but that's what you need for now. Once you've put them all out, so hold shift, you grab one, hold shift, and then just click on all the shapes there, and then we want to offset inward. I chose 12. You can do 8 if you just want a thin line, and there's your inside, so it's the same as this. So you've got the outside line, the outside mat, and then another mat on top. I think I've included everything. The only thing you've got to do, obviously, is some toppers. So what's going to happen is we're going to have 3 toppers 1, 2, 3 on each side. So 6 toppers and then 1 in the middle. So for my practice one, I've done a Christmas one, and I'll show you when we're at the craft table. And then I've just used toppers that I've had in my stash forever, and I went with them. But the one I'm making, I'm going to make it a pretty one, I think. I've got some butterflies that I bought in the works that I think will work really well. I'm hoping they will anyway. So we'll do that when we get over there. Okay, see you over there. Okay, I'm over at the craft room. Got all my pieces cut out. I've done the mats and layers and stuck them all together already. So these are the 2 main card pieces, 1 and 2. And what we're going to do, so we need to, what's that, mountain fold, valley fold, like that, and then like that. So I'm just doing the 2 outside bits, and then what we need to do is make sure that these will also fit in, and they kind of go all like that. Except we don't want the front one done. So what have I done wrong? Like that. There we go. So that is how it should fold. We don't want this bit as a fold, or this bit. That's not meant to fold. So that's how you want both of them. So I'll do it again properly this time. So you start in the middle with a mountain fold, and then that's a valley fold that comes back. And then what you're going to do is pinch them together, do mountain and valley again. And then this one just comes, so that's, it's going to go, that's it, the opposite. So I've done it wrong there. Okay, let's just do this one. So what in effect you're going to do is, because this is valley, this one is going to be mountain. So they go opposite. So when they fold together, it's going to go on the outside like that. So then they all join together like that. And the same with this one. So this one is just got to be turned. It's not going to ruin it or anything. And that one's going to be like that. There we go. So then burnish your folds. That one went a bit funny, but there we go, I've righted it. So then you've got that's it, opposites that look like this. Like that. So they're total opposites to each other. that side and that side. And what we're going to do is stick them together. Now I've got a panel, I said to you 3, but because these panels are 1 3/4, that adds up to 3 1/2. So I've actually made it 3 1/2 instead of 3. And we're just going to stick that down. Now for quickness, I'm just going to use one of these glue thingy-majiggies. Normally I'd use wet glue, but I'm just trying to be fast right now. And if I was you, I would do one at a time. So we'll do that one first. Make sure it's lined up nicely. And then we'll go over here and do that one. We shouldn't have to worry about the back if we've done it nicely. It should all meet in the middle. So let's just check the back, and there we go. Nice and met in the middle. Now, I don't like seeing the seam on the back, even though it you're not going to see it as the main part of the card. For me, it's an issue. If you don't mind that, then you can leave it, but I like to cover all the bases, so I will put another piece down. You can use just paper if you prefer, and use it as your place for your verse, which is what we'll do anyway. So that just goes on the back and hides all the mess of putting it together. And then the next thing is just sticking all your little things down, which is very simply done. So I've used black and pink. You obviously use whatever you like. So now I'll speed it up so you haven't got to watch it all, and we'll do this. So what you get left with is this shape. Can you see? So it kind of zigzags between the strips, and from the front it kind of looks like this. So there we go. Now that's it to start with. So that is your basic laying, matte and layering of the card. You don't necessarily have to do this because this is where we're going to put the main part of the cards on. So the next bit, I'm using butterflies. Now obviously there are so many different ways of using butterflies, but I found these. £1.50, and it's a pack of that many, all different shapes and sizes. It's from the Works, but I thought they might come in handy because we all love our butterflies, and there's so many different ways of using them, but I just want to show you before we start sticking them on. They've got foiling and everything on, and there are, I mean, that's the biggest. Look at that. Probably too big. I don't know. But the thing is that what you can do is do them back to back if you wanted, so that you've got it on both sides, and they're cheap enough that that wouldn't matter, would it? But there's so many different ones. You know, if you've got an aperture, put a bit of invisible thread in between, or fishing line, and stick the butterflies back to back like I said. Then that would be perfect as a little butterfly aperture in the middle. So I liked this for this card because we need some different sizes. So there's so many here. I want a big one, a really big one for the middle. But I think this one is probably too big. I don't know, what do you think? Yeah, I think it's too big. So there are so many. They come, it's not just pink they do. I just chose pink because I like pink with black. But they also come in like turquoises and greens and blues that are just as fabulous. There you can see them, there's loads. So yeah, £1.50 from the Works. It's really worth it, I think. So let's choose a nice butterfly for the middle. That's not quite big enough, I don't think. It'll have to be one of these. Okay, it's going to be one of them, I know that. And then we're going to go down a size and put a butterfly on each of the, all different obviously, but we're going to put butterflies on each of the, so I think that one might go nice there because it adds to that as well. We can match them to the opposite number on each side because obviously you can fold them and shape them. So we've got them. We need one more for them. I really do like these ones, but I think it might be too small. Let's get the big ones out of the way. Let's see. That one's too big. Okay, so how about we do, they've got smaller ones of these. No. And then we can add more on the squares if we wanted. That was the idea I came up with. But I have this long pair of scissors that I use when I'm trying to make card curl. I do have, I mean, a pokey tool works really well as well, or a pencil. But if you want them all to curl, and then we'll put that one there so it's kind of halfway. Okay, I'm going to do that one because the other one is on the outside, and then we'll do the nice light pink ones on the inside, but I might do a couple on each. I'm going to see how that goes. We've also got this, which is that one, I get that, but oh, these ones, we haven't used these ones. So with these ones and one of them, we could do a double on there. I kind of like that idea. Okay, so I'm going to put them all on and we'll fast forward it so that it's not so much. Okay, next thing we have to do, I'm just going to leave the butterflies there because I might add a few, I'm not sure. But next thing I've already cut out, it's a happy birthday sentiment. I can't remember where I got it from, I'm sorry. Maybe Tonic, can't say for sure. So I'm just going to separate it so that we've got happy I thought the curl of it and everything went perfectly, but I have to separate it so it goes like that. Done it in black because the black's underneath. You could shadow it in a pink, maybe a really dark pink, I don't know. So we'll have happy at the top. There we go, birthday at the bottom. So it's starting to take shape now. If I just bring it all in, I can show you. Now I would say it needs some butterflies elsewhere, but I do sometimes have a habit of going overboard. So, but it still folds together nicely. Okay, so I do feel like it maybe needs some butterflies there, but what I might do is just a couple of little ones rather than some more big ones. And then I'm going to end it with some drops or gems along the white strip in the middle. I don't know if I should just leave them on the top, or is that going to make the bottom look too bare? No, I think that'll do, otherwise it's too much on the bottom as well. Okay, so that's all the butterflies I'm putting on. I'll think of something, maybe just some drops or gems, and that's it. It's got the happy birthday. Yeah, I think that's all I want to do on that. So there we have it. That is how you do a shutter card. Again, if you don't like doing it on canvas, I will put my file up for free on Facebook for anyone to use. So, and obviously you'll see it completely finished at the beginning. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye for now.